Imagine splashing as many engines as possible into a deck, and I don't know why getting away with it is actually probably crazy. So what is up, guys? I'm covering some top deck lists out of this weekend between OTS championships that played under current format or locals. So the first one is Ryan Merriman, and this is pretty interesting. He said one interesting thing about this was he wanted to make the deck as playable as possible. And he tried to make this deck really as playable as it is. And I look at this and I'm like, what is this monstrosity? And Ryan really, honestly, this man changed some of the opinions about some of these things I had. So this is literally starter.deck. Any sort of combo that you might have, you can probably do it here, all wrapped up in really one little nice bundle. So we have one Aelish, we have one copy of Barbar for Burn, one copy of the Black Dragon Collapse Serpent, one Calcab, one Seer, triple copies of the Crusadia Draco, triple copies of Crusadia Leonidas, triple copies of Crusadia Reclusia, triple copies of Defrag Dragon, two copies of Farfa, triple copies of Fiendish Rhino, two copies of Jizmech Dragon, one Graph, one Jirac-Alio, two copies of Libic, two copies of Mathman, of course, one Miscellaneous Ceratosaurus, one Brotar, one Hydrolander, one Symbol Skeleton, one Harpor, two Orcust Nightmare, and then we have triple copies of Wielder, two copies of Ray and Ryu. This card being allowed to be an extender underneath this is crazy. We have triple copies of Skarm, triple copies of Oviraptor, one Ultimate Conductor, and one copy of the Wyvern Buster Dragon. Now, spells, pretty simple here. We have triple Lure Darkness, triple Called by the Grave, triple Fossil Dig, and one copy of Crescendo. Pretty interesting. Down here in the extra deck, we have one Triple Burst Dragon, one Saruja Boy, one Phoenix, one Mermaid, one copy of the Heavenly Spheres, one Elpie, one Bring the Pain Dragon, one Galtea, one Spatha, one Magius, one Cherubini, one Boral Sword, one Dingrisu, one Dante, and the one Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss. Side deck here, two copies of Doggeron, triple copies of Droll and Lockbird, triple copies of Mind Control, triple copies of Twin Twister, one in pre-order, and triple copies of Red Reboot, wrapping this up. Some little interesting side notes about this. He said, problem is during the tourney, I would have the Dino engine screw me up, but going to a grind game and dropping a conductor is kind of an auto win, lol. So basically, one interesting thing about the Dino matchup, especially, well, the Dino cards, especially in a deck like this, they really are, when you hit that grind game, I mean, he's 3,500. A lot of players and a lot of decks can't out that body. And it's pretty crazy, actually, just seeing the power that things like this kind of create in game states. I find that very interesting. Also, shout out to Mind Control. This card was pretty crazy. This card is gaining a lot of popularity right now. Being able to kind of just take an opponent's monster is pretty good. Its matchups, Grand Manju, Sky Striker, Salad, Pendulum, more Salad, and an Invoked Mekk-Knight. Not too bad, actually. Conceptually, I like what Ryan did here. I think we pushed the bill a little bit in terms of creativity here, and that's a good thing. I think duelists need to explore things like this, and literally this being starter.deck really does, it warms my heart to just kind of see how crazy things like this can really set up to be. So, shout out to you, Ryan. Thank you for sending me this, Mr. Ryan Merriman. This was pretty cool to get the chance to look at. Alright, moving on along, we have what appears to be a Prank Kids list sent in to me by David Casimir. This deck has been continuously wrecking his locals, making top 4 every single week out of a good chunk of players. And I honestly thought that this was going to be a relatively interesting cover for this, because when was the last time you... I always talk about this deck in budget decks. I'm like, hey, you know, maybe this is the deck that you should explore for this format. It's very cheap, and I mean, it's very much available to the budget player base to try out, get their hands on, and just kind of see what the deck has going for it. I do think it is an excellent deck for any starting player. Maybe not to pick up, but for budget, absolutely. So, we have triple copies of Praying Kids Dropsies, triple copies of Fansies, and triple copies of Lampsies, along with triple copies of Roxy's. Our spells here, we have Triple Called by the Grave. Hand traps are bad. We have one copy of Double or Nothing, because Utopia combo. Decks generically now have a way to OTK, and the fact that decks now can do that is really powerful. We have the one Fusion Recycling Plant, triple copies of Instant Fusion, 2 copies of Invocation, I love this. Then we have 2 copies of Mystic Mine, triple copies of Polymerization, 2 copies of Pot of Desires, triple copies of the Praying Kids Pandemonium, triple copies of the Praying Kids Place, and triple copies of Praying Kids Pranks, along with 1 Reasoning. Now, everything is a different level in here, which I assume when you hit the Reasoning, you kind of just go to Value Town. And Value Town is a good place to be. Being able to just kind of disrupt anything that your opponent is doing, get to your starter. I mean, hey, you got 4 different levels, 25% chance you'll hit something good. We have the 1 Terraforming and the 2 copies of the Prank Kids Plan. Down here in the extra deck, we have 1 copy of the Prank Kids Rip Roarin' Rooster, 2 copies of Doo Doo Doodle Doo, 2 copies of Bow Wow Bark, 1 Borreload Dragon, 1 Totally Awesome, 1 Utopia Double and 1 Utopia, 1 Abyss Dweller, 2 copies of the Washer, 2 copies of the Rocket Ride, and the 1 copy of the Batlin Butler. Then we have triple copies of Didi Crow, triple copies of Denkoseka. Watching this deck get Widow Anchored is a very sad experience, actually. It honestly kind of sucks, and there's not much you can do about it. We have triple copies of the Sad Girl and Dead Dog. Poor doggo. Triple copies of Red Reboot and the triple copies of the White Howling. Also, being able to go into this underneath normal conditions with the Dropsies on the field, or, you know, the Rooster or the Dweller or the Weatherwatt, like, hello Value Town. I love when I can side good cards and have reason to win. It's actually pretty crazy. So thank you, David, for sending in this list. And then next up, we have an interesting Mekk-Knight list, and this was sent in to me by Jamie Valencia. Now, interesting thing here is the triple copies of Vishudu. So Vishuda, if you control no effect monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. If you control a face-up non-effect monster, you can banish this card from your hand or graveyard. Target 1 card your opponent controls, return it to the hand. This is a extender for Dark. You know what that means, right? Just start your combo. Just watch me go. Seeing combo extenders in a deck like this, also, you know, kind of being able to play going first because of Vishudu makes life all the better. So, this is a little interesting change, per se, to Mekk-Knight, giving a different perspective to just kind of the game failure. So we have triple copies of Alistair the Invoker, we have triple copies of Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, triple copies of Effect Veiler, triple copies of Ghost Ogre, we have the 1 copy of the Blue Sky, 1 Indigo Eclipse, 2 copies of the Purple Nightfall, 1 Sky Blaster, triple copies of Vishuda, of course, one of the best cards. The fact that this card just exists now has changed a lot of things perceptually for combo extenders. Triple copies of Invocation, triple copies of Magical Meltdown, triple copies of Mind Control. Once again, there's Mind Control showing back up and being like, hey guys, we're doing things different now out here. 1 Monster Reborn, 2 copies of Pot of Desires, 1 Hornet Drones, triple copies of Engage, and 1 Terraforming, along with 1 Infinite Impermanence. Extra deck down here, we have 1 Kagari, 1 Hayate, the 1 Secure Garden. By the way, this is just 1 Cyber Link monster to make this, and then you get to just turn off effect damage, literally. Then we have 1 Almirage, 1 copy of the Monk of the Tenyi. Ooh. We get 1 Abermax, 1 Link Kribo, 1 Link Spider, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Invoker of Madness, 1 Starving Venom, 1 Purgatrio, 2 Makaba, and the 1 copy of the Kaliga. Down here in the side deck, we have triple copies of Brangadops, triple copies of Raw Sphere Mode, triple copies of Super Polymerization, triple copies of Twin Twister, and triple copies of Red Rebooto, wrapping up Jamie's list here. Honestly, everything that we've covered this video is relatively interesting. We're heading into the UDS this weekend. Players are going to be testing a lot of new theories. Players are going to like a lot of these really cool ideas. And after the UDS, I expect a lot of our metagame to finally be kind of wrapped up into a nice little bow and we should have an idea of honestly where we're going with that. Now, that being said, I'll have more decks later in the week for you guys. Please leave a comment down below. If you guys have done relatively well in your TCG format, feel free to boop it on over to me on Facebook. And well, guys, I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace. The ride never, well, truly ends. Thank you, patrons. Without you guys, I don't know what I'd be wearing in these videos. I might be a Truffle Shuffle incident all over again. Guys, please also check out VanCole40 for some awesome Vanguard content. Some other interesting stuff you might find up here on the left or in the description as well. Thanks for watching.